Trời ơi, nó chói nói.
Bài nó dạng như YouTube ngon.
Ngon, ông biểu livestream thôi.
Buồn.
Livestream nó đùng, kiểu đùng bài tập nghiêm túc á.
Part 3. Questions 21 to 35. In this part, you will hear 3 talks or lectures. There are 5 questions for each talk or lecture. For each question, choose the correct answer A, B, C, or D. You will hear the talks or lectures only once. Questions 21 to 25.
You will hear a talk about TV news.
This comes as no surprise as young people become increasingly addicted to their smartphones. Youth are not watching TV news. This is breakingnewsenglish.com. Young people in Young people are not watching TV news. This is breakingnewsenglish.com. Young people in Great Britain are watching less and less news on television. This is according to Ofcom, a regulatory body that oversees broadcasting practices in the UK. This comes as no surprise as young people become increasingly addicted to their smartphones. Youth are opting for online distractions like YouTube videos, social media, and games rather than switch on a TV and watch a news program. Britain's Guardian newspaper reported that the youth of the nation are more likely to get their day's news about the world from social media or by reading graffiti in bus stations than seeing it on the telly, with the average 16 to 24-year-old watching just 2 minutes worth of live TV news per day. Ofcom commissioned research into the news viewing habits of people around the country. The report is called News Consumption in the UK 2019. The research suggests that young people are increasingly using social media as their primary news source. Researchers wrote, "There is evidence that UK adults are consuming news more actively via social media." They reported an increase in posts and comments on Facebook and Twitter about the news compared to last year. Ofcom suggested presenting news stories in less complicated, more accessible way to attract young people's attention. Some people suggested this would be dumbing down content for young audiences. This is Melanie reporting from the United States.
Vegan fashion is becoming more popular. This is breakingnewsenglish.com. There has been a dramatic increase in the popularity of veganism around the world in the past decade. Many people are becoming vegans in an attempt to lead a lifestyle that is more conducive to helping the planet. Giving up eating meat, dairy, and other food from animals constitutes the bulk of changes vegans make to their lives. However, an increasing number of vegans are now extending their beliefs to fashion. There is a considerable increase in the sales of vegan clothing, footwear, and accessories. Retailers are marketing products that are free from cow skin and other animal products. Shops are full of synthetic fur coats, plastic belts, and shoes made from tree bark, recycled plastic bottles, rubber, and coconut fiber. Research in the United Kingdom revealed that 42% of shoppers considered animal welfare before buying clothes. The researchers discovered that people of all ages would consider purchasing vegan footwear. The trend in vegan fashion has also reached luxury brands. Designer Stella McCartney has designed a new range of fashion that is free from leather and makes use of recycled products. Her new collection is based on a theme of the iconic 60s group, the Beatles. Ms. McCartney's father, Paul, was lead singer of the group. She has designed leather-free yellow submarine sneakers and colorful fake fur coats. Ms. McCartney is a committed animal rights activist. This is Ken Jones reporting from Seattle.
Father of modern computing to appear on banknote. This is BreakingNewsEnglish.com. Alan Turing, the man widely recognized as being the father of modern computer science, has been honored by being selected to appear on a United Kingdom banknote. Mr. Turing was chosen ahead of a wealth of notable British historical figures and luminaries to be the face of the new £50 note. Turing was instrumental in helping Britain and its allies win World War II. He led a team of code breakers to crack the Enigma code the Nazis used to send messages to warships and military commanders. He invented the now famous British bomb to do this. This was a giant computer which ushered in the birth of modern computing and the beginnings of artificial intelligence. Alan Turing was a mathematical genius who also excelled in the sciences. He was born in London in 1912. He graduated from Cambridge University and then outlined his vision for creating an algorithm-based computing machine. He said of his invention, "This is only a foretaste of what is to come, and only the shadow of what is going to be." His idea is central to the computers we use today. His brilliance led to his being asked to join the World War II code-breaking team. Despite his pivotal role in ending that war, he was persecuted in the post-war years for being homosexual. Being gay was illegal in the UK until 1967. He chose to be chemically castrated rather than go to prison. Turing died in 1954, aged 41, in an apparent suicide.
Part 3. Questions 21 to 35. In this part, you will hear 3 talks, lectures or conversations. The talks lectures or conversations will not be repeated. There are 5 questions for each talk, lecture or conversation. For each question, choose the right answer. A, B, C or D. Questions 21 to 25 refer to the following professor's lecture. First, take some time to read the questions 21 to 25.
Mẹ không có ngốt bạn.
Did that because he kept on emphasizing that he won't take any paper that's not in his office by noon today.
I heard that too. Jessica and I stayed up half the night trying to finish it. I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning when we finally had the 3rd draft. I barely had any sleep.
You had Jessica to help you? At least you had someone to proofread your paper and help you with the research. It was a nightmare for me. I didn't even have time to proofread my paper.
Well, I'm really upset that Professor Kensington was so inconsiderate. Don't you agree?
I guess it was a hasty change, but I think he did it for us students.
You really didn't get enough sleep, did you? You're not thinking straight. I can't possibly see how I can understand his hasty decision that way.
Well, as much as I'm unhappy with his last-minute decision, I think he did it so that we could have one more chance to look over our work before turning it in. Besides, an extension of 2 days isn't going to change anything drastic in our papers.
I suppose. Still, I would have had more time to study for the calculus exam, which was today, if I hadn't had to spend so much time and energy on that paper.
Oh well, at least he didn't tell us to hand it in earlier.
That's right. Anyway, I'm not going to spend another 2 days on the assignment. I'm handing it in after the next class.
You or don't you?
Well, I tried the latest experiment by my... Professor Atkins, could I get some help with my chemistry lab?
Certainly, Julie. What's the problem? Are you having trouble understanding some of the experiments?
Oh no, I understand the experiment. Perhaps I only think that I understand it.
What do you mean? Do you or don't you?
Well, I tried the latest experiment by myself, based on what I understood from your lectures and lab session, but I seem to come up with really different results from what the textbook indicates I should be getting.
That certainly is a possibility. Remember, the textbook tends to give you an ideal explanation of the experiments. But in real life, any number of factors can cause you to get results that might not be the ideal or preferred outcome.
Oh, that's good. So any result is acceptable?
No, of course there is a range. For this particular experiment, I'd expect your answer to be within, let's see now, perhaps 4 or 5% of the textbook.
Really? My answer was nearly 10% off. Wouldn't that be all right?
I'm sorry, but that would be a problem. If your answer were that far from the proper answer, and say that even if you could explain the difference, I would have to lower your grade significantly.
I see. All right. I guess I'm going to have to redo it. I want to do well in your class and can't afford to get a bad grade.
Very good. But you'll have to hurry. The lab is due Friday, and I won't be giving any extensions.
Oh, I was hoping...
Yes?
Oh, it's nothing. Well, could you please sign a permission slip for me to use the lab after hours? I only have time during late evenings this weekend.
Sure, I'll do that for you right now. Here you go. And a tip. Before you start the experiment, wipe the test tubes with alcohol. There might be unwanted residue inside that might be affecting the result. Alaska on the map, you can see that it is bordered by Canada on the east. We'll be looking into the largest state in America, Alaska. If you look at the location of Alaska on the map, you can see that it is bordered by Canada on the east, the Arctic Ocean on the north, the Bering Strait and Bering Sea to the east, and the Gulf of Alaska. Wait a minute, sorry about that. To the west, and the Gulf of Alaska to the south. And as you can see on the map, Alaska has a greater land area than California and Texas combined. Now, although there are many cities in Alaska, the population is so low that an average number of students in a middle school classroom is only about 10. You can imagine many desolate small towns scattered around Alaska. It's probably because roads and railways serve only certain portions of the state. So it's natural that Alaskans rely heavily on airplanes for transportation, since many parts of Alaska are accessible only via air. Well, of course, there is a railway operating between Fairbanks, a relatively big city in central Alaska, and Seward, a city on the southern coast. It is much more popular than the only major highway in Alaska, the Alaska Highway, which is open throughout the year. Not that there's much traffic. One does not need to venture far to understand the reason for its sparse population. Even though cold climate and other factors make most of Alaska a less than desirable location for farming, agriculture is conducted in a few areas between Fairbanks and the southern coast. Most of the food Alaskans need, however, must be imported from outside the state. Also, Alaska is subject to strong earthquakes and occasional volcanic activity. Your textbook describes the explosion of the Alaskan volcano Mount Katmai in the early 20th century as one of the most famous and violent volcanic eruptions in history. I strongly suggest you read up on that chapter, as we'll be touching on some of that the next time. Anyway, where was I? Oh yes, earthquakes. These occasional earthquakes generate seismic sea waves called tsunamis. As you may have heard, these waves can reach far inland and destroy communities along the shore. It wasn't much different from the terrible tsunami of 2004.
And the Edinburgh Festival. But today, we're going to look at a lot more that you might not know about. Actually, a lot of these are not exactly festivals, but strange races or competitions. Some of them are ancient and some are modern. So, let's start in January in the north of Scotland with the burning of the Clavey. This is a whiskey barrel which is set alight, then carried through the streets as a bonfire. It's an ancient tradition which always takes place on the 11th of January, the first day of the year, according to an older form of the calendar. The bonfire brings good luck for the coming year, and people used to keep bits of burnt wood as protection against evil spirits. At the end of January, even further north, in the Shetland Islands, there's another fire festival, the Up Helly Ah. This seems like an ancient festival, but has actually only been going for about 130 years. Well, it is fairly old, I suppose. People carry firelit torches and a Viking boat through the streets, then set fire to the boat. There's lots of dancing. It's good fun. Now, to the north of England. On Shrove Tuesday in February, otherwise known as Pancake Day, a special pancake bell is rung in Scarborough. Everyone goes down to the road next to the beach where they skip. Yep, they jump over long ropes, up to 15 people to one rope.
Whoa!
And they have pancake races. This is quite common in the UK, running with a frying pan and tossing a pancake at the same time. Another kind of race takes place in spring, cheese rolling. In Gloucestershire, in the southwest of England, round cheeses in round boxes are sent rolling down a hill, and people run after them and try and catch them. The hill is very steep, so people often fall over. If you take part in this, you need to be very fit and wear your oldest jeans. Nowadays, this strange custom attracts visitors from all over the world, but the people from the local village are usually the ones who catch the cheese. From people racing to animals, very tiny animals. World Championship snail racing takes place in a village in Norfolk. The snails have to race from an inner circle to an outer circle, and the winner gets a lot of lettuce. There's a party and barbecue for the snail owners and observers. This custom began in the 1960s after a local man saw something similar in France. In the UK, we don't eat snails, by the way.
Right. Planning breaks. Plan your study periods in chunks with regular breaks. Many people recommend half an hour of concentrated study, then a 10-minute break. But you can adjust this to suit you. If you study for too long at a stretch, your mind will work less effectively. So be careful. In your short break, you can give yourself a treat, such as a cup of green tea.
Disgusting.
Well, I wouldn't advise a chocolate bar as a treat. A sugar rush is not great for concentration. Okay, so next let's think about what you do when you're studying. Some people just read through their notes or textbooks and underline in pencil or highlight important bits. If this works for you, fine. But I'd suggest that it's better to write notes of some kind, so your mind is processing the information more. This way, you are also producing material which will be useful for last-minute revision. I don't recommend very last-minute revision, by the way, but we'll come back to that later. Have a look at these examples of student notes. Which do you think are best? The first person has written important phrases at random. The next has a table with clear headings and boxes with notes. The next has summaries. And the last one has mind maps. You've got the main topic in the circle, then lines coming off the circle attached to subcategories, then more lines to further details. Mind maps are great for showing the connections between different bits of information. They seem to work in the same way the brain works. So, what do you think? To me, the first one wouldn't be very useful to come back to and use in the future. But the others are all fine. It depends on your personal preference. Mine is for mind maps. I would suggest using colours, though, and even little drawings. They can make things much more memorable. Obviously, when you are studying, the first thing to think about is whether you understand the information. And the second thing is how you are going to remember it.
Let's look at some more ways of making information more memorable.
Hello, and welcome to this recording brought to you by the British Council.
Rainforests Rule by Julie Bray. A world like no other. Perhaps this is the best way to describe the world of the rainforest. No rainforest is exactly the same, yet most rainforests are now distributed in the small land area 22.5 degrees north and 22.5 degrees south of the equator, between the Tropic of Capricorn and the Tropic of Cancer. You can find tropical rainforests in South America and Indonesia. Other rainforests flourish further from the equator, in Thailand and Sri Lanka. Despite occupying a relatively small area, rainforests have a colossal role to play in maintaining the world as we know it. Tropical rainforests are home to a rich, colorful variety of medicinal plants, food, birds, and animals. Can you believe that a single bush in the Amazon may have more species of ants than the whole of Britain? 480 varieties of trees may be found in just 1 hectare of rainforest. These forests sustain around 50% of all the species on Earth and offer a way of life to many people living in and around the forest. Rainforests are the lungs of the planet, storing vast quantities of carbon dioxide and producing a significant amount of the world's oxygen. Rainforests have their own perfect system for ensuring their own survival. The tall trees make a canopy of branches and leaves which protect themselves, smaller plants, and the forest animals from heavy rain, intense dry heat from the sun, and strong winds.
Now turn to part 3. You will hear 3 different talks or lectures. In each talk or lecture there are 5 questions. For each question, choose the correct answer A, B, C, or D. You will hear the talks or lectures only once. Now open your questions paper and look at talk or lecture 1. You now have 35 seconds to look through the questions and the options in each question. Now we are ready to start. Listen carefully.
Right, everyone. About the trip to the Jubilee Arts Centre next Wednesday. As you know, we have tickets for the centre's 2 theatres and the concert hall. Those of you with concert tickets will hear piano music by Chopin and Schumann. Those with tickets for the main theatre will see Shakespeare's Twelfth Night, while people going to the smaller theatre will see The Wild Duck by Ibsen. Although all the theatre and concert tickets have gone, if anyone else would like to join us on the trip, I can get tickets for the Arts Centre Cinema to see the Australian comedy film Spider and Rose. The shows begin at 7:30, but we'll leave early so you can spend time looking round the Arts Centre. The coach will leave here at 3:30 and arrive at the Arts Centre at about 4:45. Let me tell you what you can do there. The centre has a lot for art lovers. In the art gallery, there's an exhibition of the history of Russian ballet. It has dresses and shoes worn by famous dancers and photos of past performances. With your student card, you can get in very cheaply. There are also some interesting free exhibitions. On the ground floor, you can see prize-winning paintings from a children's competition and gold jewellery made by Scottish artists. On the first floor, there's an exhibition of South American photographs, and there's no charge for that either. I know some of you hope to do some shopping. The centre has a bookshop on the first floor, and there's a souvenir shop by the ticket office. If you're more interested in clothes and shoes, there's a large shopping centre, 5 minutes walk from the Arts Centre.
You'll probably want to eat before the show. The Balcony Restaurant has a menu with a wide range of meals and waiter service, but it is rather expensive. Or there's the Fountain Restaurant, whose special 3-course dinner is good value for money. There's also Charlie's Coffee Bar, which serves coffee, sandwiches and cakes. You can get fruit juices and ice cream from the cinema kiosk. After the shows, the coach will pick us up at the Bridge Street exit. Everyone should be there by 10:20. The 2 plays will finish at around 10:10 or 10:15. I'm afraid concert goers will have to wait as the concert finishes earlier at 10 to 10.
Now open your question paper and look at Talk or Lecture 2. You now have 35 seconds to look through the questions and the options in each question. To start, listen carefully.
And now for a few tips for those of you who are going to go walking this summer. Let's look first of all at the type of bag that you should take with you. Rod Smith works in a shop that sells camping equipment, and he feels he has a bag for every type of walking holiday. Rod, does it really make a difference what type of bag you use?
Yes, Jill, it certainly does. Bags come in every shape, colour and size now, so it makes sense to pick one that is right for your needs. A backpack, for example, could quite rapidly ruin an otherwise good walking holiday if it doesn't fit your back. In fact, the fit is critical, but the choice is so large now that it's difficult to know how to make the right one. So here are a few things to look for. First of all, size. A bag that holds 35 litres and has 3 outside pockets should be plenty big enough for a day trip. For a 4 to 5 day walking tour, I would recommend a bag that holds 70 litres for a man and 50 to 60 litres for a woman. That's along with a tent and a sleeping bag. An upright bag, that's one that closes at the top, is better if you intend to climb a lot of hills. What about the contents? Well, in order to really avoid the inconvenience of broken containers or crushed clothes, I suggest you go for a bag with a solid bottom. The best ones, but these are probably the most expensive, have a leather base that's particularly resistant to wear and tear. A bag that has 2 compartments inside will allow you to find things more easily and separate out items such as creams that could leak in hot weather. Extra pockets on the outside of the bag are also useful if you want to carry any tools for climbing that are sharp or get dirty when you use them. Then you have to think about carrying your bag. If it's a backpack, a wide cushioned belt will ease the strain on your back and hips and leave you with more energy for your walking activities. Shoulder straps also help lighten the load, and these should be easy to adjust. There are many different types of strap on the market that can be adjusted in various different ways. Try several and compare them. It's also a good idea to make sure there's a horizontal bar that goes across your shoulders and stops the straps from falling off. Well, if you choose your bag carefully and think about some of the things I've mentioned, you shouldn't waste your money. Finally, make sure there are plenty of air holes in the padded part of your bag that touches your body. These are essential to allow sweat to escape and to make your walking or climbing holiday a comfortable one.
Now open your question paper and look at Talk or Lecture 3. You now have 35 seconds to look through the questions and the options in each question.
Very much about PS camping. Let me start.
Now we are ready to start. Listen carefully.
Thank you all for coming to my talk this evening. It's nice to see so many people in the audience. For those of you who don't know very much about PS Camping, let me start by giving you some background information about the company. The company started 25 years ago. It actually opened as a retail chain selling camping equipment, and then 20 years ago, it bought a small number of campsites in the UK and began offering camping holidays. The company grew rapidly and has been providing holidays in continental Europe for the last 15 years. If you book a camping holiday with us, you'll have a choice of over 300 sites. In Italy, we now have some 64 sites that we either own or have exclusive use of. France is where we have the majority of sites, and we currently have a project to expand into Switzerland. We also have a number of sites in northern Spain, particularly in the mountainous region of Picos de Europa. We've upgraded all these Spanish sites and improved them considerably from their original 3-star rating. We believe our holidays offer superb facilities for the whole family. Parents who want their children to be fully occupied for all or part of the day can take advantage of our children's activities. These are organised by our well-qualified and enthusiastic staff. Each day kicks off with a sports match, perhaps football or volleyball, followed by an hour of drama for everyone. This may include singing or dancing, mime or other activities. In the afternoon, there's a different art activity for each day of the week, including a poster competition or model making. What's more, our sites are truly child-friendly, and with this in mind, we operate a no-noise rule in the evenings. Children's evening activities usually finish at 9:30 or occasionally 10, and from 10:30, holidaymakers are expected to be quiet in the areas where there are tents. We want nothing to go wrong on a PS camping holiday, but if it does, we also want all our customers to be insured. If you haven't organised an annual insurance policy of your own, you'll need to take out the low-cost cover we offer, and we require that you arrange this when you make your holiday reservation. There are many advantages to choosing PS Camping and to recommending it to others. As a regular customer, you'll be kept informed of special offers, and your friends can benefit from 10% off their holiday, or book a luxury tent for the price of a standard one. In return, we'll send you a thank you present, which you can choose from a list of high-quality items.
That is the end of part 3.
Oh,